many road trips over the years in South Africa that I have stories to tell you for days. But if you are planning on doing a road trip, or you just feel like, shoo, I want to do a road trip but I'm unsure I'm going to survive it, I've got some tips and tricks to survive a long road trip in South Africa. So buckle up, sit down and make some notes so that you can plan your road trip and have the best adventure ever. First and foremost, always do your research. Research. That means doing Google search on like what route you're gonna take, like how you're gonna plan your road trip. I have a whole video talking about how we plan our road trip, so please go and reference that video as like how do you do it, how do you like plan your accommodations, how do you plan the routes, all of those nice things. So go and start off there. Look at YouTube videos on like the route plan, see how it all comes together. That way you can like start planning your entire road trip, because that is fun. Like, don't stress about it, have fun doing it. Sometimes it is a little bit stressful because sometimes you have to pivot along the way, but that would be the first thing. Research, check to other people who've done it before. Go on YouTube. YouTube is the best place and best platform to go and find like the research part of it, because someone has done that road trip already, someone has done it before you. So go onto YouTube and figure it out, see how it's done before. Then the next thing is plan your route. So it's part of your research, right? So plan your route. What I mean by this is like check the road conditions. This is me looking at you Free State, because the Free State potholes were like a very interesting thing for me, because our car was not meant for the Free State at all, because you need a 4x4 when you are driving around in that particular province. So look at, is this route a gravel road? Can your small sedan car be able to drive on that route? Or are you just going to be particularly on the main roads, in like popular tourist destinations? So really make sure to really cover all your bases when it comes to the routes. I know when we went to the Eastern Cape the first time, there was a particular road that I was so unsure of. I was literally going so far into Google Maps that I literally couldn't understand this entire road. I didn't know it was a gravel road, I didn't know it was a tar road. But because I was in a blogging space, I knew a lot of bloggers, I knew some Eastern Cape bloggers. I actually just messaged the blogger and I was like, hey, I'm doing this road trip. I was unsure about this road. Can you tell me about it? Have you done like this route before? And she messaged me and she said, Stephanie, it is just a slab. It is a slab where if oncoming traffic comes on, you have to go to the side where like one half of your car is on the slab and the other half is on gravel. And that's why I couldn't see it so well on Google Maps, and it was great that I could have like a reference person to speak to in the Eastern Cape. Speak to someone, like if you can, ask people on X, on Instagram if you can. Social media is a powerful tool to use, so if you're unsure about like certain things, ask. Always ask if you're unsure about a specific route. But just before you go on this amazing adventure, service your car. Guys, I cannot emphasize this enough. Please service your car, because you don't want to be on the road or in the middle of nowhere, the Northern Cape, because the Northern Cape has towns that are so far apart that you'll be driving for days, or like I'm exaggerating now, but I mean you'll be driving for long periods of time where you literally do not see a soul. So always make sure that your car is serviced. I mean, sometimes things do happen, like we had a tire burst once when we were also in the Northern Cape, but like 10 kilometers just outside Kimberley. Stuff happens, but we had a spare tire that we could use. But service your car, make sure that your car is roadworthy. When we went to Mpumalanga, we had to have our tires replaced. We had to have all 4 tires replaced. But what we did for us is that we had 2 tires replaced 2 months before we went, and then just before we went we had the other 2 replaced, so that wasn't exceptionally heavy on our budget. And then we had like a mini service done. If you know that maybe there's an oil leakage on your car before you go on the road trip, make sure that that's replaced. Or you know, like your bearings or whatever it is that you know that needs to be replaced on your car, please make sure that your car is roadworthy. Make sure that your car insurance is up to date. Just make sure that your car is in good condition. Next thing, stop and rest every 2 to 3 hours. Cannot rest is enough. Cannot rest is enough. This is one thing that I always prioritize when we're on a road trip, because many of times we do our road trips in the spring and summer, and it is very hot in South Africa. So the roads are hot, the roads are full, because a lot of people also have the same mindset like us, that oh, let's do a road trip, and the national roads are a lot of times full, because when we do our road trips we use the national roads first, and then we do like the off-beaten tracks or go to our small little towns that way. But always make sure to just recharge, refuel, stretch your legs a little bit, eat something, but make sure to do it that way, because you can get tired very quickly, very fast, by just sitting the whole time and staring into the oblivious. Especially the N1 highway, it is just straight the entire time. There is no curves or changing gears if you have a manual car like we do. It is so boring. Please guys, if you can, stop every 2 to 3 hours. I know you're trying to get to your destination as fast as possible, so if you are needing to get to a certain point, try and leave earlier rather than, you know, just trying to just drive there straight through without any breaks. I am all about just rather getting there late or just leaving earlier. I'm all about that. I recall when Courtney and I needed to be in Mossel Bay, we left very early. Like I think we left at 4 o'clock, because I was not about to be just driving straight through. I'm all about the brakes. The roads in South Africa is not like the safest, so please, if you can, brakes are very important. If possible, share the driving load. This one is a little controversial in our case. I don't drive. I have my driver's license, but I don't drive. With our schedule, like when we plan our road trip, Coach and I have to do it together, and I will ask him, this is how long it's going to take us. How long are you willing to drive? And then he'll be like, okay, I can only drive for X amount of hours, and we consider the breaks. And then I will say, okay, we're only gonna drive for so amount of hours, and we'll stop here. So a lot of times you'll find that our road trips are just a lot longer, because he is the primary driver. He drives alone, because I'm not sharing the driving load with him. So ours is just a little trickier and a little, I say, controversial. It's not controversial, it's just different. If you are two drivers doing this road trip, then share the load, because it makes it easier mentally. You'll get there a little faster, and it's just going to be a lot easier for you guys to share it. So we're on this road trip, say, okay, I'm in the first leg of the route, and then when we stop, I'll do it, and then chop and change like that to make it interesting and fun. I know some people likes to be passenger princess. Okay, I'm predominantly passenger princess, but if you're passenger princess, please take your duties very seriously. Like, you've got a duty. I've got a whole video on how to be passenger princess. Please make sure that there's always snacks and drinks available. I always have like a little cooler box dedicated by my feet. I mean, to be honest, my entire feet space is always packed with everything, to be honest, when I'm going on a road trip. But I have things that is catered for me, so like all the snacks that I enjoy, then the snacks that Courtney enjoys. When we do go on our little breaks, so like every 2 to 3 hours, it will normally be like a gas station, because we ended up filling up, we need a bathroom break. A lot of times we are buying more cool drink because it is very hot maybe, or you want something like a coffee or whatever it might be. So make sure that each one gets their own snacks. Courtney is always someone that wants biltong. Guys, biltong is so expensive. But Courtney wants his biltong, or like I'm someone, I want all my chips and my chocolate. There you go, my chocolate. And then I like to hydrate all the time, so make sure that the snacks and stuff is always filled close by. I always have to kind of like open all the bottles and stuff like that for Courtney, because he's obviously the one driving the most. So I mean, not the most, he's the only one driving, but you know what I mean. Always make sure that it's stocked on hand, ready for the person that's asking, and then everyone's happy chappy. Next up, fully loaded playlist. So because Courtney, his hobby is a DJ, so what he does normally is that he actually creates like hour-long playlist or like an hour-long playlist, or yeah, so like you'll make a playlist that's dedicated for like old school vibes or house music or whatever. So he literally creates an entire playlist for however long that road trip is. It is wild. Courtney does the whole thing for us. So he literally just puts it on a stick for us because we use like a USB thingamabob in our car, and he sorts it out for us. It's like the music department is not my thing. It just plugs in its little compartment in our car, but he sorts it out because music and DJing is his hobby. So the music is always sorted, but it needs to be part of the road trip survival. If there's no music, the road trip is cancelled. Like, it's not a road trip thing if there's no music, because it's crap. So please, music is very important. Next up, toll gates. We need to talk about toll gates. There is a lot of toll gates, and the most toll gates is actually in Mpumalanga. I've mentioned this before. But if you encounter toll gates in your research, make sure that you always have cash on hand. Like, they only accept cash and they only accept credit cards. They do not accept a debit card and they do not accept a check card. There are so many people that have voiced their like frustrations with this, because you have to like turn around and get out of the line and find a ATM to go and draw cash, because a lot of people don't have access to a credit card, which totally understandable. And a lot of us don't carry cash. I for one don't carry cash, but I do have a credit card. So always make sure that if you are planning your road trip, make sure that if you are encountering a toll gate on this route that you are taking, that you have cash or you have a credit card on hand to pay for the toll gates. Also try and see that if you are to check how much these toll gates are. I found it quite difficult for some of the toll gates from Mpumalanga specifically. The main toll gates you can normally find what the prices are, but these plaza ones are the ones that are quite difficult to find. I found that those were the tough ones that I couldn't find the prices for. But otherwise, like the big ones that are on like the main highways, those are the ones that you can easily find available online as to what those prices are. This is a one that Courtney and I, we are really bad at this one, because we always find ourselves in a pickle with this one. Always fill up when you see a petrol station. The Northern Cape specifically, the towns are very far apart, and you won't find a town like you would find in the Western Cape, for example. So if you fill up now, the next petrol station you will just fill up. Like, don't even think about it, just fill up, even if your tank is halfway full, because you don't know when you're going to find another petrol station again. And this is the mistake Courtney and I did on the last town of our Mpumalanga road trip. We were leaving Priska to go to Williston. Guys, we rolled into Williston with almost no petrol. I thought we were gonna stuck somewhere. And given that we've done the Northern Cape multiple times, and I've given this advice multiple times to many of you, we still did the very thing we tell you guys. And we rolled into Williston with no petrol. Because we didn't take our own advice. So please just fill up whenever you can, even if it's just halfway, because you never know where you'll find the next petrol station. So those are my handy dandy tips for surviving a long road trip. I think you should have fun. One of the other tips, sorry, I think I forgot this tip, is checking if your car is suitable for a particular place or town. Because I know a lot of places will say like you can only access this place or particular area with a 4x4, you can't access it with a sedan. So always make sure to check that, because there's nothing worse that you've booked a place but you can only access it with a 4x4. We don't have a 4x4, but I've seen this multiple times where you think you can book a the pictures look amazing, but we don't read the fine print. So always make sure to see like, can I actually access this place with just my ordinary car? Does it require high clearance? Must it be a 4x4? Do I need a bucket? Those type of things, because like I said, in the past we've never had a high clearance car, so at some point in our lifetime we are hoping to get a high clearance car just because of the type of travel that we do. But we always have to make sure that we're not in an area that's going to damage our car, because our car has been damaged before because of the type of gravel we ending ourselves being on. So always just read the fine print, make sure that you do your due diligence with the research, because you don't want to end up paying a lot more for your car to be fixed because the pictures just look great but you didn't read the fine print. Just a little like side extra tip to remember. Make sure to download Google Maps, because you'll find yourselves in areas that the signal will just disappear. I, for one, am very old school. I have my map, like a full-on map. Let me tell you, that map has gotten me out of really tough situations when there was no signal on my phone and I pulled out that map. People laughed at me with that thing, but it helped me. It has helped me through like how to get on the routes. Granted, I still have to like read maps properly, but it works for me. But if you are a full-on technology person, I am a full technology person, but I think that the old school map still works. Just make sure to download it once you know the full route of your adventure. And so yeah, make sure to always do that, because the signal will disappear, especially if you're going on an off-beaten path or you're going on an off-grid adventure, which sounds also fun. I would love to do that. Courtney, unfortunately, he's too obsessed with technology, so I can never do an off-the-grid thing. So yeah, those are some of the things that you really need to remember when surviving a long road trip in South Africa. Some things that I wanted to mention to keep in your car while you're on this road trip is, number one, toilet paper. Sounds odd for me to say this, but especially when you need a public bathroom, a lot of them, especially when it's especially in small towns. I've been to small towns. Toilet paper, important, very important, in case you like get to a very odd restroom. I've been to odd ones, so please, they don't all have toilet paper. So also have like hand sanitizer and some wipes with you on hand. Very important, especially someone that's had chronic diarrhea. Have cash on hand. A lot of us don't walk around having cash on hand, but it's very important to like tip a car guard. Again, someone that is predominantly in small towns, a lot of them still use cash. They don't use tap and go. They don't make use of like cards. Please, cash is very important. I have a first aid kit. So Courtney and I have a little small first aid kit that we always carry around with us when we go traveling. And it just has the basics of like plasters, headache pills, like Courtney suffers from sinuses, eye drops, like just the basic things, because sometimes you'll find that especially in small towns there isn't a doctor that's close by, so just having those very basic first aid things is important. You can get those small kit at a Clicks or a disc game that you can just keep with you while you're traveling. Also have a roadside emergency kit. So what I mean by this is just having like a spare, making sure you have a spare tire, a jack, some jumper cables, because these things happen. And I say this and I will never forget that tire post we had, because that was a wild run for us. A power bank, have some power banks, because your phone does have go flat, especially, but I noticed newer cars have where you can charge your phone in the car. We don't have a newer car, so try and have some power banks to just make sure that your phone and some electronics that you have on hand, that it's fully charged. Because you need to maybe phone someone, you maybe need to phone the host of the accommodation to keep them up to date with like where you are, because a lot of times the hosts will message me to see how far I am, because a lot of times I will be like, hey, I'll be there 3 o'clock, and then meanwhile it's 5 o'clock and they were expecting me. So just remember that. And then the last thing is to just keep like a travel umbrella in your car. I cannot stress this enough because a lot of times you think it's sunshiny throughout your trip and then it's raining, so like an umbrella, I'm sure a lot of us know that, you know, just pack both summer and winter things, no matter if it is just spring, summer now, but it's, you need to put a jacket in, or like it's winter but you might just put a short sleeve top in, you know, those are basic things. But always just keep like an umbrella in the car, because it could just rain in another province and I said like it's sunshiny the entire week and then it just starts raining out of nowhere. That's what happened actually on our Mpumalanga trip. It rained while we were in Mpumalanga and I was like, what is this? So those are all the things that I have. If you've got any tips and tricks that you think are valuable for surviving a long road trip in South Africa, let me know in the comment sections. I would love to know what yours are, because I know a lot of you have done a long road trip as well. So let me know and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.